Once upon a time, there was a very overweight man who decided that it was time to shed a few pounds. He went on a new diet and took it seriously. He even changed his usual driving route on the way to the office, precisely in order to avoid passing his favorite bakery. One morning, however, he arrived at the office carrying a large, heavily frosted, calorie-laden coffee cake. For this, he was roundly chided by his co-workers, but he only smiled, shrugged his shoulders, and said, "What could I do? This is a very special cake." What happened is that by force of habit, I accidentally drove by the bakery this morning. And there in the window were trays of the most tempting goodies I've ever seen. Well, I felt that maybe I was meant to pass that way. So I prayed, "Lord, if it is your will for me to have one of those delicious coffee cakes, let me find a parking space right in front of the bakery." And sure enough, on the 9th time around the block, there it was. We do that, all of us. Not necessarily coffee cakes and all of that. But we have that little voice inside of us that tries to rationalize, tries to argue us down, tries to let us have what we really want, and yet convince ourselves that, no, it's not really that bad, or this is okay, or I deserve this, or whatever it might be. We do that. Sometimes it can be relatively harmless, but it's hard not to have it go beyond. It's hard to not give in. And just as I said, when it's something that I want, even if I know it's not healthy, even if I know that it is wrong, even if I know that it is illegal, I'll find a reason, I'll find a way to convince myself that not that bad. I'm being a bully in an argument of one. And it can get to be that we get so good at that, or we get so comfortable with it, that a lot of times we don't even realize that that's what we're doing. We just shift into that mode automatically. The gospel today this is a tough gospel. This is a hard one to figure out what to preach on, because there's really 3 different gospel accounts that you can use there. But the story of the dishonest steward, for the children of this world are more prudent in dealing with their own generation than are the children of light. We seem to be a lot better at coming up with strategies, with plans, with ways to get our advantage. Than we are to truly listen to our conscience, listen to the commandments, the teachings of Christ. The question of business ethics has got to be something that we take a look at, we take seriously. Many times we'd rather not. I've got to get ahead. Got to show the prophets. Got to make sure that I get all that I can. But at what cost? Jesus says, what profit does it gain someone if they gain the whole world and lose their soul? So many work 40 hours a week plus at their job. And then 1 hour a week give to God. And if we are not careful, if we are not prayerful, we can let the one overcome the other. You'll either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. A little voice inside of me says, well, no, I'm not really hating God, I'm not really despising, but in this case, a young carpenter married a building contractor's daughter. Soon after, the contractor decided that he'd help the career of his new son-in-law. He said, son, I don't want you to start at the bottom of this construction business as I did. I want you to go out to my job site and build the most tremendous house this town has ever seen. Put the best of everything in it. Make it a show place. And turn it over to me when you're finished. Well, the son-in-law thought, this is an opportunity to make a killing. He began to slap together a building that would barely survive 2 strong windstorms. He made a deal with a shady wholesaler and installed substandard lumber, shingles, cinder blocks, cement, wiring, lighting, insulation, so on. But he always billed for the best materials. The 2 cheats split the profits from their deception. In short order, the son-in-law presented his father-in-law with the keys to the newly finished house. The father-in-law inquired, is it a tremendous showplace of the newest and best materials, as I asked? Sure is, Dad, answered the son-in-law. Is it the finest house ever built, son? You betcha, Dad. All right, where's the final bill? And did you include a good profit in it for yourself? Well, here it is. And yes, I did. Okay, let me write out a check. Do you have the deed with you? As he accepted the deed, the father-in-law said, I didn't tell you why I wanted that house to be the best house ever built. The fact is, I wanted it to be something special that I could give to you and my daughter to show you how much I love you. Here, take the deed and the keys. Go live in that show place. It's yours now. Go live in the house you built for yourself. The young man slinked away, shattered and frustrated. He thought he was getting rich at his father-in-law's expense by shaving money here and there with inferior materials and various shortcuts. But in the end, he only cheated himself. We need to be prayerful. We need to be vigilant. We need to let ourselves hear the voice of God, the voice of right. Because in this day and age, it can be so easy for us to cheat ourselves.